What say we get into this week's news?
Good evening, Mr. and Mrs. Now from South America. All the ships and clippers at sea. Let's go to press.
Game news.
First thing up in game news, we're just going to say it's the end of the year, and it's been, thank God it's the end of this year. This has been a real bear of a year for everybody. But we do want to say that there's so many businesses, there's so many industries that are hurting right now. We should also mention that our industry, board game industry, is hurting right now. And if you have spare money, and please do not give money that you do not have in surplus, but if you wanted to, this would be a particularly excellent year to donate to Board Game Geek. As we've seen, as we've talked about this year, it is not a perfect community by any stretch of the imagination. We've witnessed some dust-ups with our own Jennifer as well that have been troubling to say the least. But I do believe that it is a community that is still very much worth supporting, and that the people that are in charge of it are people that really do want the best for everybody, and it's largely labor of love for the hobby that they love.
True. I always do it. I always give every year. It's well worth the $25 that I give to not have ads. Without it, people don't really realize what it was before Board Game Geek. That was amazing. Amazingly bad, right?
Yeah, I think that's...
Yeah, I give to Board Game Geek.
Yeah, people would go on dial-up and look up bulletin boards where people were talking about these weird things in Europe that people were playing. So,
right.
Thank goodness that we have Board Game Geek. The micro badge levels start at just $15. So if you can sport $15, guess what? You're going to get a 2020 patron badge. And as Jennifer said, if you give at least $25, you're at the silver level. And you can customize what ads you see on the site, which can be a very nice thing. If you're going there every day, $25 sounds like a good deal to have the page look the way you want it to look. It's pretty nice. And then there are obviously higher levels after that. But listen, it's something that I also tried to give. I haven't given every year. There was a period where I didn't. But I think if you look at my my little symbol, I think I've donated at least 10 times, and I will be donating this year, especially because, as we said, it's a tough year, and we should support the people that are trying to do the best things that they can. Next up is a particularly joyful experience here. There's a game that has come out, Aliens. Another glorious day in the core. Another glorious day in the core, gentlemen. Love the title. The publisher is Gale Force 9. Gale Force 9 are the people that put out the edition of Classic Dune. They put out their Dune version earlier in the year. They've also done games like Spartacus, Blood and Sand, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. They seem to be specializing in tie-ins. They take tie-in titles and they make them into games. Looking at what they did with Dune, which is not that much. They honored Dune and they did a fairly good job of it. I would love to check this out. I've heard some good things about it. It is definitely a bug crawl. It plays 1 to 6 players, and there are 6 different missions that the game comes with. 4 of those missions can be combined into a campaign system. Listen, Jennifer, this is not generally the type of game that you or I like, right?
Nope.
But I will say that I am such a huge fan of Aliens that I look at this game and I'm like, yeah, I would play this. I would play the heck out of this miniature game. In particular, one thing that's interesting is they have something called an exhaustion deck, which seems to be a relatively new idea. The idea being that each player can carry up to 2 or 4 items with them. So they can carry guns and weapons and tools and so on and so forth. And the deck is open to them. They can take whatever they want. The thing is, though, is that everything you do in the game exhausts cards from that exhaustion deck. So if you want to fire your smart gun, it's going to cost you 3. If you want to fire a flamethrower, it's going to cost you 2 cards from that exhaustion deck. And if your team exhausts the exhaustion deck, you lose. So it creates a very interesting situation where you want to tech up and grab everything that you can to go on this mission. But if you do that, your deck, your exhaustion deck is much, much smaller. So probably proper strategy is figuring out how lean can I go in so that I can last longer. It's a very interesting idea. I thought it was a great idea.
Yep, nope. I don't even like aliens, so there you go.
What? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Well, then you might also not like the next title we're going to talk about, Dwellings of Eldervale. Dwellings. Okay, I'm going to start off by saying I don't like the title, Dwellings of Eldervale. It sounds like Cones of Dunshire a little bit to me.
Right, yeah.
But more than that, there's a game called Everdale that is highly successful and much beloved. Why would you name a place Eldervale if there's a game called Everdale out there? It's bizarre to me. But that said, it is a game for 1 to 5 players. And the designer is Luke Laurie. Luke Laurie designed Whistle Stop, for one, that Jennifer is going to be talking about probably in a few minutes here. He's also designed one of the Manhattan Project games, the particularly good one, which was Energy Empire, Manhattan Project Energy Empire, which from that series of games I thought was pretty much the best. So Luke Laurie is a serious designer. This is a worker placement game with miniatures. It is a little bit of a dice chucker too, so this seems to be a game that tries to do a little bit of everything. You've got worker placement, you've got area control, you've got engine building, and you're chucking dice and moving miniatures around on the board. To me, this is either going to be one of the best games ever made, or it could be trying to serve too many masters. We will see. Early word is pretty decent with the people playtesting, but you know, people playtesting tend to love the game that they're playtesting, right? They tend to either know the designer or it tends to be right up their alley to begin with. So just so you know, Dwellings of Eldervale says a 2020 release. It is out in stores right now, and the English editions are, well, they're expensive. They're expensive. They're running $150 is what I'm looking at right now. So, but listen, for the miniature gamer, those prices don't seem so absolutely insane, though a little bit high. Might be a try before you buy. That might be my suggestion. Next up is Nidavellir. Jennifer, I got nothing for you today. Nidavellir
That's okay. You don't always have to have something just for me.
It takes place in the Dwarf Kingdom, where they're threatened by the dragon Fafnir. And it is a card drafting game in which you are you're spending money at various places to draft people into your dwarven army. Each dwarf class scores differently. So there are blacksmiths, hunters, warriors, explorers, miners. Tom Vassell gave this a rave. Tom Vassell absolutely loved this game, and he said that when this comes out, people are going to really want to jump on it. I haven't heard much about it. I think it's been released in Europe. I will say that Serge Leger, who is the designer, has designed a lot of good games. I mean, he Ad Astra, Shadows over Camelot, so one of the very first Hidden Trader games ever. Mystery of the Abbey he designed with Bruno. So this guy's serious. This guy is a no joke designer, somebody to be taken seriously. And the early word on this game is quite good. So if you can get past dwarves, I personally have a problem, but if you can get past dwarves, this might be a game for you to check out. And last but not least, we are going to talk about United States versus Aaron Burr. This is a game that's going to be coming out at some point in 2021. It's a little bit early as far as the game goes, but the reason I bring it up is because the designer is Jason Matthews. Jason Matthews, as you know, is the designer of Twilight Struggle and Imperial Struggle, and he has another 2-player game, which is going to be the treason trial of Aaron Burr. Treason trial?
Yeah.
What?
I was going to say, that might be interesting. I might pick that up.
Well, yeah, I mean, we were talking about why there aren't any lawyer-themed games, and here you have a game that is a two-player card-driven war game, essentially that recreates a treason trial. I think that's a really interesting idea.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Dimitri's analysis.
Yeah, I am too. I am too. Now, we don't know when it's going to come out in 2021, so all I can say is I'm willing to wait for it. Little Hamilton joke there for you. Looking at the cards, looking at the way it lays out, this sounds really interesting to me. I'm super excited about it. Actually, I can't wait to try it out and check it out. I love games that take more obscure moments in history as opposed to trying to tell the story of a whole period. They tell an event in history, and I learned from that event.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's a really great thing.
Absolutely. And it's not just another take on this or another take on that. It's digging deeper. I wish more board game designers would do this.
Heck yeah, absolutely. My one complaint about United States versus Aaron Burr is I don't see a single dwarf in it. It's very It's very frustrating, so far I haven't seen the miniatures yet, but the sculpts, from what I can see, don't appear to be very good. So we'll see. But United States versus Aaron Burr will be coming out in 2021. Jason Matthews, 2 players, about an hour's play length is what he's saying, which that gives me an interest. I mean, a shorter game? That sounds like around the realm of a Watergate, which is another very good game that when you play it, you learn more about a particular moment in history.
I don't want to know any more about Watergate. Thank you very much.
All right. Well,
I live that stuff. Oh, God.
I am not a crook.
Hey, if you enjoyed that video, you very well might enjoy the other videos you now see being suggested to you on screen. Also, we'd greatly appreciate it if you could like, share, or subscribe to our Game Brain channel. Thanks so much.